European Union has finally regulated artificial intelligence. There has been a lot of concerns about artificial intelligence. There are a lot of good things. It is increasing productivity. It is helping us to do a lot of coding tasks, a lot of tasks which were boring. At the same time, there are a lot of concerns. Recently, we have seen Elon Musk suing Sam Altman that OpenAI is being used for commercial purposes, not for the benefit of humanity. And Sam Altman himself admitted that artificial intelligence should be developed with the care. There are a lot of commercial uses, but there are a lot of potential of misuse. So far, the governments have been behind the curve. Nobody knows what to do with artificial intelligence. Elon Musk, in fact, met uh, presidents and gave them his thought about artificial intelligence, that artificial intelligence can surpass human beings. It can make human being obsolete. It can destroy, in his opinion, it can destroy the earth. So it's a good that we European Union has come with regulation. So let's look into more in this legislation. What does it cover? So this legislation is uh, approaching artificial intelligence on risk-based approach. So it has identified that artificial intelligence systems can come into risk categories. On the top, there are unacceptable risk, high risk, and then there are limited risk and minimal risk. What are this unacceptable and high risk? So they have given a definition. What are high risks? High risks are if you're building some artificial intelligence system, general purpose or artificial intelligence system, which can disrupt the public infrastructure, that is high risk system. If you can build a system which can monitor people, you and deny them their access to public services, that is high risk. If you are building some artificial general intelligence system which can disrupt the education system, that is high risk system. So you can go to their website, find out what are the high risk uh, uh, systems they have identified. So what you need to do if you are building high risk system, you have some obligations towards the authority. You have to do adequate risk assessment, and you need to implement mitigation systems. You cannot just cause a major accidents on highway and say it was minor bug. You need to do your risk assessment, and you need to mitigate the system. The data set, you need to have high quality of data sets feeding the system to minimize risk and discriminatory outcomes. We know artificial systems work based on the data you feed. You give them good data, vast data, they work. Like, for example, Tesla uh, self-driving system uses artificial intelligence. It it is being fed videos of good drivers, but if you feed bad drivers, you're gonna get bad output. I was watching interview of OpenAI I think very high executive, and she was asked what kind of data set you are feeding to your Sora. Sora is a system which will generate videos based on the prompt 1 minute, and she couldn't answer that question on the interview. Afterwards she gave them interview they are using. So you need to use high quality of data sets. Some experts are suggesting that maybe these systems, these uh, auto generated artificial systems, need to be fed data from the classrooms, from professors, from academic material, where data is sanitized, it's validated, it's checked. then you need to lock your activities. I have seen in some Tesla accident cases, they create a video of the accident. They are logging everything before the accident happened, but whether the system was uh, driver was in charge, or it was the self-driving system of the car was in the charge, what happened. So you need to have a detailed documentation providing on information necessary on the system and its purpose to authorities. You need to have clear and adequate information to the deployer. You need to have appropriate human oversight to minimize the risk. Your system has high level of robustness, security, and accuracy. So a lot of people are criticizing these regulations, these laws. They are saying that instead of penalizing the model, the model underneath the artificial intelligence systems, the law should be focusing on misuse of artificial intelligence. But I think it's very necessary. If you're building high risk system, you need to have a documentation. You need to tell how the system is working, how it's taking decision. It cannot be a black box. So here is the process. When you're building high risk AI system, it has to go undergo the conformity assessment and comply with AI requirements. You have to, step 3 is you have to register standalone AI system in EU database, and a declaration of conformity is needs to be signed, and all systems should bear the CE marking. If substantial changes happens in the system lifecycle, you need to go back to the step 2, where it undergo the conformity assessment and comply with the AI requirements. So I think this is very sane regulation for putting some checks on high risk systems. It classify what are the high risk systems, and yes, you need to document, you need to log, you need to have human intervention to minimize the risk. You can't just disrupt the traffic on the highway and create some public services disruption, deny people services to some certain public services. So limited risk is where the risk is limited. It is about transparency. Lot of time you think you are talking to some customer support person, whereas if there's a chat bot who's talking or replying on you on the website. So this law says that you need to build transparency. You need to tell the people that this advice, this support is given by a chatbot. So the people who are receiving this support, who are receiving this information, they can decide whether they should trust the chatbot or not. So this law is supposed to add more transparency uh, from the people. The third is minimal risk. Minimal risk is examples are some video game which is AI assisted, or email spam filter where you're using artificial intelligence to find out what are the junk emails. So these are minimal risk system which doesn't need to go under any scrutiny, or you any any kind of public scrutiny. So, are there penalties if you violate this law? Yes, there are penalties. This section gives you a detailed information. What are the penalties if you don't follow? So, I think it's a good start about the discussion. What are the checks we need to put on the artificial intelligence systems? We have to make sure that mm, we hold people accountable. It has great, as the document says, it has great potentials. It can help the productivity. It can help a lot of causes. good causes, but at the same time, we need to regulate what these systems are doing. Make sure there's a proper documentation done, their proper risk assessment is done, so that human our privacy is not violated, our fundamental laws are not violated. The EU document again and again talks about protecting people's privacy, people's fundamental laws. So, in my opinion, this is a great start. It will great start, and we will look forward. So, of what good comes from this more discussion. So, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, like it and share it and subscribe to my channel. I will be sharing more news about artificial intelligence and other technologies.